You're listening to the Geriatric Mamas podcast with Jessica Raziri
and Sonia Tapley. Hey mamas, today we're diving into a topic that's come up quite a bit in our community lately, egg freezing. And we're not talking about the what is it basics that you might expect. We're going much deeper, exploring what the entire process looks like in the year 2025. So grab your favorite snack, get cozy, because we have plenty of fascinating insights to share.
Absolutely, because seriously, the game has changed over the years. We want you to have the latest information, especially if you find yourself in that tricky space of maybe, but not right now, when it comes to growing your family.
And be sure to stick around until the very end of the episode for our conversation about the emotional and often invisible world of secondary infertility and trying to conceive after already having children. You won't want to miss the insights and stories we have to share.
Mamas, I love a full and silky texture in my face creams because they feel so healing and comforting to my dry, thirsty skin. Well, the award-winning, best-selling, lightweight moisture release water cream by Honest Beauty called Hydrogel Cream refreshes and cools my skin on application and leaves a dewy finish. As I mentioned on the Hope-isode, Kathy's story, I love mixing Hydrogel Cream into my foundation for a healthy-looking glow. Infused with jojoba and squalene to help hydrate and soothe thirst, plus 2 sizes of hyaluronic acid to help soften and firm, reducing the appearance of fine lines. Honest Beauty's Hydrogel Cream will provide a beautiful glow for very dry skin. We're leaving the link below in our show notes. Drink up, mamas.
Mamas, I want to have Rosé all day, have fun, and let myself live a little without feeling drunk or feeling hungover the next day. So I treat myself by adding Rosé tinted glasses to my sparkling water or lemonade. If you're like me and you're looking for calm daytime energy while feeling alert, present, and uplifted because, well, you know, you're a mom now. Adaptogenic and antioxidant-rich ingredients make Rosé tinted glasses from Apothecary great for those battling feelings of stress and looking to curb signs of aging with improved skin tone and moisture. Its tincture format makes it easy to drop wherever you're making it. It's perfect for busy working moms, busy stay-at-home moms who are looking for mood and energy support on the go. We're leaving a link below and in our show notes. So cheers, mamas! So let's dive right in and explore why this particular topic is so incredibly timely and relevant for us. A brand new 2025 study conducted by the American Society for Reproductive Medicine has just been released, and egg freezing rates for women aged 35 to 42 has skyrocketed by 38% in the last 2 years alone. Isn't that fascinating?
And part of the reason for this growth, more insurance companies are finally recognizing the importance of covering it as a preventative option, not just labeling it as a medical necessity. This is a major win for women everywhere who are trying to take proactive steps in their health and family planning.
And it's truly being normalized in our society today. It's no longer just a trend for celebrities or tech employees enjoying those fabulous Silicon Valley egg freezing perks. More women from diverse backgrounds are recognizing the importance of taking control over their fertility options. When I'm talking to dating clients, it seems like it might even be a question that they can answer for their dating profiles. I'm seriously seeing that coming up. Like, are your eggs frozen? Did you freeze your eggs yet? Because it's like people want to start their families later.
I had never really thought about that, but you're right. Yeah, that is a good question.
It's so crazy.
Especially like a lot of women that are finding themselves single in their 40s and they're suddenly just like, you know, and it's the ones that don't have their babies yet, but they're still wanting that as an option potentially. So yeah, that is something to consider in that case. Okay, so let's get into the latest updates. First off, as we know, the technology in the fertility world has improved a ton over the past few years. Cryopreservation techniques are now much more reliable and effective, and the success rates have seen a significant increase, especially for women in their late 30s who are looking to conceive. It's all about making the journey to motherhood a little bit smoother and more hopeful.
Also, new clinics are popping up all over that cater specifically to women aged 35 and up. These aren't your typical run-of-the-mill fertility centers. They're designed with a refreshing focus on emotional support, body literacy, and even flexible financing options to make the journey more accessible.
And now there are even mobile clinics. There are now several of these innovative services popping up in big cities where initial consultations and hormone testing comes right to your doorstep or workplace. It's definitely about time someone acknowledged that we're far too damn busy to make a lengthy drive across town during our hectic work hours. These mobile clinics are the game changer we've all been waiting for. There are also a lot of hormone tests that you can take as well.
So I guess the mobile clinics are kind of like, they're more, what I'm hearing is that they're more in the big cities. So like New York, Chicago, I'm guessing. LA for sure.
Maybe Miami.
Probably.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but there are also home hormone tests you can take. My acupuncturist had me order one from the Modern Fertility Company, and it's an at-home test for AMH levels, which some of you probably know is the ovarian reserve.
A few of my coworkers have taken those.
Yeah. So, of course, like when we were trying for Annabelle, there were some at-home things or companies that weren't like super well known yet. They weren't really available. But then after Annabelle, it was just easier to do stuff from home, especially since we lived in like Standish. So, but before you go Googling the nearest cryo lab, there are a few key things to think about before freezing your eggs. This is just reminding me of like the Kardashians and how they froze all their eggs. And then like, what was their success rate?
Wait, when did they do that? I don't remember.
All of them did.
All of them froze all their eggs?
So definitely Courtney.
Oh, you're saying okay. Sorry. I was taking it like there was an episode where they all went together to freeze their eggs, but you're just saying that they all did it individually. Yeah.
But I don't remember, like, that was such a long time ago that I feel like technology has advanced so much, like what we're talking about, that like, who knows what their success rate was, but I know that Courtney had to do like the full IVF to have her latest baby.
Well, they also all touched on, and I know this kind of goes into a bigger thing, but they also all touched on, you know, a lot of times too, we're just like, okay, great, we froze our eggs, but it's like the harsh reality that like you don't know if an egg is viable until you try to fertilize it.
Until it's fertilized.
And so they also touched on all of that too, but
yeah.
So first and foremost, let's talk about the cost involved in this whole process. Even with insurance covering some portions of it, the expenses associated with freezing and storage can add up quickly and aren't exactly pocket change. Expect to pay anywhere from approximately $8,000 to $12,000 for each cycle, not to mention the additional annual storage fees that can also sneak up on you.
Yeah.
This is why a lot of times fertility doctors will say, or not even just fertility doctors, but people will opt to just do the full IVF cycle and try to get them implanted and store embryos instead of egg freezing. Because when you look at the cost of egg freezing, for literally like $5,000 more, you could do the whole IVF cycle. It's like crazy how expensive it is.
Yeah, it's basically the first half of IVF. I mean, you're spending so much money on the stimulating medicines to get your ovaries to produce more follicles.
And it's crazy how many people don't actually understand the cost of doing this out of pocket. Like, I love that insurance is finally getting their heads out of their assholes because like, so many, I remember being in my 20s and people and being like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be ready to have a baby. And people like, oh, you can just freeze your eggs. Like, people are just so quick to like nonchalantly make that as a suggestion. And the truth is like, when you actually look into it, it was definitely not an option for me back then.
Right, no.
And it's not an option for a lot of people.
Right.
So yeah, it's ridiculous.
Second, it's a process for those who have gone through IVF. They know this process very well. As we just spoke about, it's basically the first part of IVF. So you'll be giving yourself hormone injections, going to frequent appointments, and dealing with the side effects. It's totally doable, but it's not a spa day.
No, not at all. This just reminded me too of from Vanderpump Rules. Sheena did the egg freezing thing. Yeah. She like went through all of that, and she would like, mind you, like obviously the hormones and everything, like it's a mind fuck, right? Like it's a whole process. And this is obviously before, I think it was actually before Brock, before was even found him or whatever, she decided to freeze her eggs. And she was getting mad at none of the people because they like, I guess like none of her castmates came to like check on her after her surgery. I'm putting surgery in air quotes now. Like, yes, it is actually technically a surgery to like have these eggs removed. And some people do feel pain. pain. And but like literally it's like not that, it's like not anything. Like you might have mild cramping, but she literally was making it like I had surgery and no one checked in on me. No one checked up on me. And I remember being like, because I had like already, well, actually at the time I hadn't gone through it, and I was actually like, oh man, like that's kind of shitty of nobody. And then when I was kind of nervous to go through it because of that. And then when I did it, I was like, okay, Sheena, like calm down.
I think
like calm down.
It definitely feels weird because your ovaries are carrying so many follicles, and you're basically just walking around feeling like you have a bag of sand in your stomach.
You have the best descriptions. Like, okay, we need to do like a highlight reel of all of your descriptions of things. Like, what was one of them? You were saying, okay, that one you just said, like, bag of sand. There was another one recently, you were like, I feel crunching in my ovaries. And then you were like, I feel like, I don't even know, like you're so specific, and it's like, ew.
My God. Oh yeah, because like sometimes women have a condition when they're ovulating too, that like either their their follicular tube, their fallopian tube. Hello, geriatric mamas. Their fallopian tubes will either get blocked, or like a follicle could be really big, or like whatever. And so it'll be like a painful ovulation. And I've had like 3 very painful ovulations in my life. The last one was the one where I texted you, like, it feels like crunching or whatever.
Yes, it's so
like,
gross.
At least that time I knew what it was.
Yeah.
The first 2 times I went to like the ER because it was so intense and I didn't know what was happening. And my mom was like in a completely different area of the country from me. So she couldn't be like, are you... Like, she couldn't, like, think, like...
I think you're really in tune with your body.
Yeah.
I think is what
and
it is.
I have a very low threshold for pain.
You have a very low threshold for pain. You're very in tune with your body. And literally, it's like every time you're ovulating, you're like, I just felt the egg drop. Yeah. I just felt the egg drop.
Like, insane.
And I'm like, what? Like...
I will know which ovary fucking dropped the egg because my left or my right side will hurt so much.
That's so cool. I mean, it's not cool, but it's like...
Yeah. And I mean, there are months when it's just like as a light pain. And then there are other months where it's like, ow, what is happening down there? You know?
Yeah.
Like, what did you just drop?
You just need to keep on describing things. Like and we're literally going to put together a highlight reel of all your descriptions.
I think I just dropped a
I feel things crunching. Yeah. I feel some crunching. Maybe that should go on a t-shirt.
I'm very fertile right now.
I'm fertile AF right now. Okay. Moving on. Okay, so third, freezing your eggs is not a guarantee. It's an option, a tool, but it doesn't promise a future baby. Think of it as giving yourself more time, not locking in an outcome. And you're also, like, I know to go into what I was saying before, how it's like, yeah, like you don't know if it's a viable egg until you fertilize it. That's true. But your chances of it being a viable egg are higher the younger and the earlier that you do it. So being in your 20s and getting like a sand sack of eggs and like your odds are, versus like in your 30s versus in your 40s, still do it. I'm not saying people in their 40s shouldn't do it because it's still better than like in your 50s. 30s is still better than in your 40s. 20s is still better than your 30s. So it's still better, but your chances are greater the earlier that you just jump on it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so what is one thing that you, Sonia, would want our listeners to take away from this topic?
Well, mine is, if you're thinking about freezing your eggs, schedule a fertility consult because knowledge is power. We talk about that all the time. Knowing your AMH levels, your follicle count, it's all good info to have, even if you don't act on it right away, and you can take an at-home test now. So it's just really easy.
Yeah. The more you know, I know there's like some mindsets out there of like, I'm afraid to know, but it's like, you need to know because there's a lot of things, a lot of doctors. I don't understand this, but I was surprised also how many fertility doctors are so unaware of how much you can alter your body and based on like regulating your hormones through like diet and supplements and acupuncture. There's so many things you can do. Like your AMH level can go up and down.
Right.
So like and a lot of doctors would be like, no, it's not true, but it actually is true. It's been proven to be true. So like you need to know where that is so you can understand the best plan of action to fix it and make your, increase your odds. You're spending so much money. Make sure you know what's going on.
Right.
So for me, I guess something that I would want listeners to take away is don't let shame or comparison run the show. So whether you're 38, single, married, child-free, trying, or just unsure, you deserve options and support. Hey mamas, are you someone who's 35 plus and struggled with fertility, endured a miscarriage, experienced heartbreaking fostering or adoption challenges, or were perhaps flat out told by a doctor that you will never conceive naturally, and despite the odds, eventually found your happy ending by becoming a mama?
Send us your story at geriatricmamas.com. We would love to feature your journey to motherhood on a future Geriatric Mamas episode.
So speaking of comparison and deserving support, did you see that reel that I sent you by the mom with 2 children who had been suffering in silence over not being able to have a third child?
Yeah, oh my gosh. It was so, it like hit home and like.
It was so raw. And I was so happy that she opened up and shared that because we've talked about second hand infertility before, but the way that she volunteered this emotion was just so pure and honest and heart-wrenching, and I was literally tearing up when she went through this. So we're gonna play this reel because I feel like this is definitely going to resonate with a lot of our listeners.
Yeah, I think so. Right.
A different kind of video today, but if you don't mind me opening up, I'd really appreciate it. My husband and I have been struggling to have another child for the past 2.5 years, and I felt like I didn't have a right to share because we have a son and a daughter, which we're so grateful for, but there are layers to this. And I know people have struggled with conceiving or infertility for a lot longer that aren't even holding babies in their arms, and my heart can't even imagine what you're going through. But perhaps a lot of women decide to stay silent for that same reason I just explained. But this is a different side of a similar story, and I think it would help me to hear from other people. So how can I expect that if I don't even do it myself? So that's what I'm doing today. This is something that's been on my heart since before my husband and I were even married. And I've prayed for the Lord to release it if it is not in his will, and it has not been released. And I have heard and felt things in my prayers, so I know it will happen. I do not know what the journey looks like. I don't even know what the end looks like if this child comes from my body or someone else's body, if the whole script has been changed for a different purpose. Maybe being fruitful and multiplying is just me reaching other people. Today, I bawled my eyes out because I got my period on day 17 right after ovulation. Not supposed to happen, regardless of all the tests I've gone through, and my husband. Everything seems to be in perfect condition, but it's not. And I struggled this morning. I wanted to lay in bed all day, and I wanted to punish my body, and I wanted to stop listening to the Lord because maybe perhaps I didn't feel what I heard and felt in my prayers. But I will not do that. I will not give the enemy the pleasure of creating chaos in and all around me. I will not do that. I will not. Truth be told, I did give into a little bit of the chaos this morning. I threw some orange juice and slammed some doors, and I think I threw a few other things, and there's a hole above our towel rack right now from the last time this happened, but not anymore. Does it hurt? Yes. And if you're in a similar situation, it doesn't even need to be the same situation, just like a similar walk of life right now. Just know that you are in good company, and it's just part of it. It's uncomfortable, but we will not lose our faith. That we will not do. Above all else, we will not forget where our strength comes from, okay? And if I do one good thing today, I pray that this video is that. I wanted to lay in bed all day and just sulk. Not my plan, but his, so giddy up. I love you all.
Ugh.
So good.
I love her so much. So this is an influencer that we both follow, Lindsay Gurk. Is that her name? It's LindseyGurk on Instagram. She's actually known for, well, I think she's known for a lot of things. She does like a lot of really funny skits, and she has like some funny songs about like ADHD and stuff that really hit home for me. But yeah, when she posted that, it was definitely different than the type of stuff that she usually puts out there. So I just really appreciate it because she has a really big following. So I love that she opened up about that.
Yeah. I love how she's casually like talking about it, and it's not like this, like, it's earth shattering, but the way that she's talking about it, it's not. It's just like a casual conversation that everyone can relate to, and it's just really inspiring.
One of the things too that she said is, and I think this holds true for a lot of women that are dealing with secondhand infertility, is that she didn't feel that she could share that she was struggling in silent, and she didn't feel that she was deserving of having those feelings or emotions. And she was like feeling, she didn't say this, but it's almost like she was feeling maybe selfish for feeling this way when she knows that there's other people who are worse off. The thing is like, you could say that for anything, right? There's always somebody worse off than you. And actually, Courtney said this with everything that she went through. It's like, you can only, I'm probably going to butcher this, so apologies, Courtney, if you're listening to this right now. But one of the things that she was saying is that it's like, your situation is your situation, and how you were interpreting it. And you can only grieve based on like what has been presented to you, and like what you have gone through in your own experiences. Like, you don't know other people's experiences. You know what you are dealing with, and your grief and your pain, what you're feeling is true and valid. And like, you don't need to be comparing it to other people. Those aren't your experiences. So I don't know. It's just, I really appreciated that she opened up about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just really good. Her message is amazing. It's like you're grieving quietly with guilt sitting in the passenger seat, and we want to hold space for that.
Yeah.
So what we're actually discussing here is secondary infertility, which refers to the struggle to conceive or maintain a pregnancy after having previously given birth. We've had several amazing Hope-isode guests that share their experiences with this heartbreaking issue.
It's truly more common than many of us realize. The CDC estimates that nearly 1 in 10 couples face secondary infertility. What adds to the emotional turmoil is that society often doesn't recognize the grief that can come with it, especially when you already have children. That's so true, because a lot of people are like, I mean, well, at least you already have a child. And in her case, she's just like, I have a boy and I have a girl. We're really blessed. I get that. I love that. But it doesn't take your want and your desire and your, away. It doesn't take it doesn't make the pain go away.
Yeah. Everybody has a different idea of what they wanted their family to look like.
And
Things change. Things change too. It's like we tell ourselves to just feel grateful and move on. And of course you are grateful, but grief and gratitude can coexist. They're not mutually exclusive.
No, not at all. So let's talk about what this can feel like behind closed doors. You're already doing the mom thing, diapers, homework, snack bags, but you're also charting ovulation, peeing on sticks, maybe going through treatments.
All while feeling like you shouldn't talk about it. Maybe your best friend is in the middle of IVF for her first baby. Maybe someone close to you had a miscarriage last month, so you shrink your pain out of respect.
This was actually going on with our friend circle through all of that, because we were all at different phases. And I know I was feeling it. I had to distance myself a little bit from social media and the chats. I know I got really quiet for a period there, and it's hard because you don't really know how to navigate it.
Right.
So we've heard this from so many mamas. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but here's what we want to say to you. You're not ungrateful. You're human.
Definitely have to reframe that. This is the part that we don't talk about enough. The internal war, that voice that says you should be happy with what you have, or some woman would kill for your life. Why are you sad?
Bitches. Shut up, Karen. That voice of shame, and shame thrives in silence. It convinces you to go through fertility treatments quietly, like I did, to cry alone in the bathroom, like I did, and to carry it all alone.
But you can honor someone else's pain without erasing your own. Compassion doesn't require self-abandonment.
Yes, you're allowed to want more without it meaning that you don't treasure what you already have. Longing doesn't cancel gratitude, and hope doesn't make you selfish.
So I guess my takeaway is speak your truth, even if it's just one trusted person. I mean, you told me throughout your whole journey with to conceive Hayden, like I was definitely one of your trusted people. I know that there were more.
No, I would honestly say you were truly the only one. Yeah, I actually didn't, aside from Adam, who obviously was in it as well, I didn't share anything with anybody, family, friends. You were literally the only person that knew anything that was going on.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think everyone deserves support no matter what stage of family building you're in. Your motherhood status doesn't disqualify you from grief.
No, not at all. It doesn't. If anything, as we touched earlier, I feel like it would make it harder because truly everything that I had gone through, I can't imagine going through that while I have Hayden. So I'm still having to wear the mommy hat and be happy and positive and make his days magical. But then I'm also suffering on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Like, how do you be present? And you're hormonal as well. So like, if anything, I'm going to go on a limb here and say it's probably harder.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Really, I can't imagine either. Because, like, just you got postpartum. Some people go through postpartum until their baby's 5 years old.
I can tell you that I was definitely postpartum and hormonal until Hayden hit 2.
Yeah.
When he hit 2 is when I started, like, something started making me feel more like myself again. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how long it can last. So you've got like postpartum hormones, you've got your regular cycles, and you're raising a child, and then, the loss every month of not being pregnant. It's just so much.
And the schedules, like she was saying, she's like, I want to stay in bed all day. And I did have days where I was in bed all day and I just went dark and I was like, don't talk to me, leave me alone. You can't do that. You can't turn the world off when you have a child.
Yeah.
So if this episode touched on something that you're going through, just know this: you're not alone and you're not wrong for wanting more, nor are you selfish.
No.
And just, if any Karen tries to tell you that you are, just punch her in the throat.
Right.
And even say that GM told you to do so.
Karen is yourself. Do you
your internal dialogue, your internal monologue is a Karen.
What do you do to her?
Ooh, I don't know.
Can't punch her in the throat.
You can't. Damn, Sonia.
Journal it.
That's deep. Yeah, you just turned to journaling.
But here's the deal. Sometimes you're like too obsessed with journal, so maybe just ask like a friend what to do to yourself.
Yeah. Go to a rage room, scream really loudly in your car. Throw something.
Punch a wall like she did.
Punch a wall. She has a follow-up video that I sent you where it shows her like painting over the wall. She decided to like do a cute little mural on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I sent you another one. It was a follow-up. And so basically it's actually kind of cool. So as she was painting, she's definitely very spiritual. And as she was painting, she was like, the different songs that were coming on. There was a song that came on that reminded her of her mom and through that time. Then there was another song that came on that reminded her of like different things, like with each phase of this mural that she was painting over this hole. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
so, cool. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And if someone you love is going through this, hold space for them. Ask, listen, don't minimize, just be there. And kind of feel it out, because if they're an Aquarius, they might not want to talk about it every day.
Yeah, Aquarius here.
Yeah, you can just subtly check in like, hey, hi, good morning.
Yeah, Aquarius here. If we want you to know something, we will tell you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're not going to tell you shit.
If you're asking, you're badgering.
Yeah, you're definitely badgering. And I'm not going to, if anything, it's going to make me not to tell you anything at all the more you ask me about it.
Yeah.
So let me come to you. It's like a cat.
Right.
It's like the stray cat thing is truly probably a good description of an Aquarius.
Yeah.
Like, I will come to you on my own terms.
Yeah.
I will open up to you on my own terms.
So we should write a book, How to Deal with Aquarius Going Through Infertility.
Wait, here's another idea. Dealing with each sign through the infertility process.
Yeah.
Oh
my God. The fact that we actually need this.
Write this down.
Is insane. But like.
This is there with our murder coffee table book.
Like every morning I'd be like, oh, hey. And like leave it there, see what happened next.
Yeah.
That's the Aquarius way.
So good. But back to your point, sometimes I feel like, I know for me, and I guess it's because I'm an Aquarius, I know for me is sometimes I just want to vent and move on.
Yeah.
I do this at work all the time. And literally I will preface it with my work friends. I'll be like, I'm just here to vent and move on. I don't want advice. I don't need you to like
Check in
do
on me.
anything about this. Just
Right.
let me get this out.
Mhm.
And then I promise I'll be over it in like 5 minutes.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's like you just want that outlet of getting it all out, saying everything you need to say, and you're not looking for fucking advice. So being
Mhm.
like, oh, you know what? Like everything's going to be okay. And it comes across to us as it's being minimized. And
Yeah.
it's being like your feelings are like silly for to be
Mhm.
feeling, oh, it's not a big deal. Everything's going to be okay.
Mhm.
Like tomorrow's another day. And while that's true, that's not what we're hearing in that moment. So sometimes if somebody's coming to you that's in the thick of this
Mhm.
and they're opening up and they're venting, just listen.
Yeah.
Offer a shoulder for them to cry on, give them a hug,
Mhm.
maybe bring them some Starbucks. Like sometimes less is more. You just
Mhm.
don't need to say, not everything needs
Yeah.
some wise advice because sometimes there are no words.
Right. Sometimes you already have an action plan in place, but you're just like going through the emotions.
Right. You're going to have that moment.
Mhm.
I know for me, like I would literally get like every time I had a failed cycle or, didn't stick or whatever the case was, I would let myself feel it.
Mhm.
I'd give myself that permission, grieve, feel it, cry, let it out. Give yourself a day if you needed to.
Yeah.
But then I quickly bounced back. I got it out. I moved on.
Mhm.
It's a new day.
Yeah.
And when I got it out and moved on, I don't want to talk about that dark
Yeah.
time anymore. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. Exactly.
if you're the one going through this, come connect with us on Instagram at geriatric_mamas. This is a no judgment zone. Despite our faces sometimes look like we're judging, but I promise you we're not. Your story matters to us.
Mhm.
Promise. We've
Yeah.
heard a lot at this point.
Yeah. And we also have a fertility support group on Facebook. So it's just Geriatric Mamas, but the group, not the page. So you'll see both of them pop up if you type in Geriatric Mamas.
Yeah, there's been some like really fun activity happening on the group lately, which is really cool.
Until next time, keep loving your life, even the messy in-between parts, and stay
Geriatric AF. So thank you for listening. Be sure to tune in next week. Your support is keeping the podcast going. You can help by following, subscribing, rating, reviewing, and especially by telling a friend to listen anywhere or watch on YouTube.
For more info, you can check out our website at geriatricmamas.com. You can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok at geriatric_mamas, on YouTube at Geriatric Mamas, Twitter at Geriatric Mamas, and follow our group page on Facebook, Geriatric Mamas.
I feel like we should probably start calling it X. I think we need to give in. I was really holding strong that Twitter was going to change back to Twitter. Well, no, but I feel like we were doing this on purpose as a stance. We were refusing to call it X, but I feel like it's not coming back.
Twitter existed, but we still say it every week.
Yeah, we just don't like ever use Twitter. So you can
It's
go
there.
on there if it makes you feel good, but like we don't ever check it. So if you have a topic idea that you'd like us to discuss or interested in being a guest or simply have a funny geriatric story to tell, you can go to geriatricmamas.com and hit be a guest or send us your story. Send us your secondary infertility stories.
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah. All right. Well, bye-bye.